America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was trucking up the highway, minding my own lane, with some dude in a Prius went and flipped me off. Guess my redneck hit him wrong. Seems like everyone these days is a ticking time bomb full of hate for folks like me who don't agree and ain't ever gonna change. And it gets me thinking, leave this long-haired country boy.
Hey everybody, this is Jon Marietta, and we're back at the podcast studio recording today. Our podcast / radio show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank all the viewers. We started something new, so check us out. It's called Coffee with the Hillbilly. We're going to try to do it every morning and watch and see what you might learn, and maybe give you a different take on the day. So anyways, let's get started. I'll tell you what. Gather around and listen close. We've got a heavy yoke laying heavy on the good people of Pennsylvania, and I'm here to tell you it's time to call it what it is. Straight up bondage. You work your fingers to the bone, paying them state taxes, pouring your hard-earned money into ever-rising gas tax. Think about that, ever-rising gas tax. And guess what? It's going up again because the budget they passed won't be sustainable without another tax of some. Every time you fill up your truck, strapping things together, property taxes to keep a roof over your head, and holding on to the land your granddaddy cleared with sweat and prayer. Then, when the Lord finally calls you home, they still ain't done with you yet. Inheritance tax in the state of Pennsylvania comes slithering in like a wolf at the funeral, sinking its teeth into what you aim to pass down to your children and your children's children. They tax your living. They tax your dying. They tax your very dirt you're laid to rest in. Now I ask you folks, how long shall this wickedness continue? How many generations must be picked clean before we rise up and say enough? Remember what the good book declares in Ecclesiastes. The sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eats little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. Yet here in Pennsylvania, even in death, a hardworking man can't find rest because the tax man comes robbing his peace and stealing his legacy. Think about that. They're taxing you after you die. This ain't right. This ain't justice. This is greed dressed up in government clothes. It's high time we cast it off. It's time for a change, folks, a righteous change. We need bold leaders with backbone who stand up and thunder. No more taxing a man's death. No more punishing his family for owning land. No more reaching into the pockets of the living and the graves of the departed. We ought to let a man keep what the Lord helped him build, pass it down in peace, and go home to glory, without the tax collector standing at the foot of his bed like some devilish debit collector. This is Hillbilly Jon's show. I'm going to tell it to you straight. From the heart of Pennsylvania, where we still believe hard work should be rewarded, family legacy should be protected, and a man ought to die free. Stick around, y'all. We got truth to speak, burdens to lift, and chains to break today. Hey, I got Al Buchtan with me. Al, I want to thank you for stopping in today.
My pleasure.
And I know that you feel the same way about all these taxes.
Yeah, they're out on the trail, about 100 homes yesterday, predominantly older folks, and they were not happy. My opponents had 12 years to make a difference. Hasn't been the difference is it's all gone up.
Yes.
So when she says,
and the amount of money they're getting has stayed almost stagnant.
When she says that she voted to reduce taxes, I don't want her to do anything. We would probably be better off because those reductions that they voted on have actually resulted in increases. And it just goes back to she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Bottom line. I mean, that is the bottom line. She ran a quickie lube place or whatever it is. Might have had one employee or two. I mean, nothing.
I would probably say that if the truth be known, the family probably run it in order to keep it keep it profitable because
Sure.
that's how it was. I mean,
Sure.
let's think about it. You get taxed on your income.
Taxed on your
Then you take that income and you go buy groceries,
tax.
and the groceries aren't taxed. The clothes you buy aren't taxed yet in Pennsylvania yet. And then you go buy a cake of soap and some shaving lotion and there's some deodorant and there's tax on that. So you're paying taxes at the grocery store, no matter what anybody says. And if you buy a cooked chicken, they tax that. So, okay, so we're now we're getting
I'll
taxed.
I'll send you every tax that the average person in Pennsylvania gets. There's 30 of them. There's 30 taxes, and it starts out just like you said for sales tax. Every tax down there, there's 30 taxes that you pay.
But the abomination, the true abomination of taxes. I mean, our forefathers,
Right.
They would have been out of powder by now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we would have had been. They just would have. But anyways, it's the fuel tax. It's 58.5 cents. And from what I gathered, I got some information from a couple different sources today. It's the highest in the nation right now. The highest in the nation.
It might be. It flip-flops with California.
But right now
So,
we're higher than California.
Yeah, it was that way about 3 or 4 months ago too. It was higher. It's just irresponsibility.
The poor farmer, I know he doesn't pay tax on his fuel, but he pays taxes on everything too. But he pays taxes, road taxes on the diesel that he uses to get the crops to wherever he has to sell them, whatever he has to do, and to go get the fuel that he needs for his tractors. I mean, and that's even higher than over road taxes, even higher.
Yeah, I have tractor trailers and it's high. My biggest thing is, these people that are in office, and I talked about this. I was on a show in Philly over the weekend. They don't know what the hell they're doing, number one. And why is that? Well, most of them have never had any real business experience. So my thing is, we need to make an amendment. These people running for anything, Senate, state, even your school boards should have some business experience, not just, working for somebody, signing the back of the check, but actually signing the front of the check, knowing what 941s are, axes. I mean, unemployment compensation tax, workers' comp tax, knowing what all these taxes are. And they don't know how to balance a budget. Hence, back to your point, we don't have a balanced budget. We won't. This budget now is going to be $3.26 billion more than the last budget that was $3.3 billion.
And it's going to be $7 billion in the hole.
$7 billion in the hole. My opponent says it was the responsible thing to do to vote for that. Why? Why is that responsible?
Well, she also voted for Act 77. So I'm going to throw that out there. That's not nothing to do with taxes.
That's totally against the Save America Act. Again, against Trump. But, and then she voted to confirm Rachel Levine, Rick. I mean, so she voted to confirm somebody. She's fighting for women's rights, but yet she votes for a guy that thinks he's a woman. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So where is her morals at? You know what I mean? She justified that by saying, well, that's what everybody else did. I don't want somebody in office that's going to do what everybody else did.
Yeah, exactly.
I want somebody that has their own backbone and has the power to make a difference.
That's why Americans, we can buy a Ford, Chevrolets, Dodges, and we actually I mean, I know there's Toyota plants in the country now, and there's a Mercedes plant in the country now. So I mean, we have to try to support the people that are working for living in the United States.
Hey, bring them all in. Bring all these plants in.
Well, that's what our president's trying to do.
We bring these plants in and jumpstart this economy. I just think that we have people, again, it just goes back to these people who do not know what they're doing. They don't. They're in there for a paycheck. Here's the thing. My opponent is going to spend probably $3 million, somewhere between 1.7 to 6. That's what she's going to spend to try and beat me. Where's that money coming from? Large portion of it came from the PA GOP, which I will never donate money to ever again. The biggest portion of it is coming from Win for PA. That is a pact for the casinos. Now, why is it so important? Why would they spend so much money to keep this woman in there?
Well, the same money.
It makes you wonder, right?
Yep.
It makes you wonder.
Then they get on, and this is one of the problems that we're seeing over in Fayette County, and I'm sure it happens here too. They get on boards of these.
She's on the board of the LSA.
Yeah, but
of the casinos, but she's accusing me of being funded by dark gambling casino money. And I've only been into a casino, I think, one time, and that was to have dinner with her about trying to get funding to our area, which she neglected. And that was it. I don't know anything about the casinos. Don't care. Pay your taxes, pay your bills. That's it.
So we got to keep. I want to get. You're right. Pay your taxes, but this is where these non-government agencies come into effect, and the money gets hid, and it gets, and you know what? These people make the mafia look like
Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts.
Yeah,
exactly. Because
for sure.
Because they know they know how to skirt the law. They know how to do all these things, and this is what happens. But anyways, let's get back to the taxes, because taxes. This is what affects people on a daily basis.
So I was at an event this morning down in Washington, in Canonsburg, and I was going around. It was an event to for different organizations that help with disabilities, mental awareness, and stuff like that. Their funding's. The one guy said his funding for his organization has been cut by 40% over the last 10 years. So their service that they can put out is going down and down and down. And what's on the rise? All of our, autism, all the rest of the stuff. So where is your tax money going, really? I mean, it's supposed to be going to, social service programs like that to help out. And I told him, I said, but yet we can spend our tax money, about $2 billion, on 200,000 illegals in this state alone.
One more time.
$2 billion.
$2 billion.
200,000
on 200,000 illegals.
Yep.
Wow, that's insanity.
It is insanity, but I mean, it's real easy to figure out. Your schooling, $23,400. Your health and welfare, they're all getting free medical. They get phones. They get subsistence, cash, SNAP. I mean, you go down the line. You're talking a lot of money.
And these aren't American citizens.
No.
These are just,
nope.
I showed up. I'm going to tell
Look at Charleroi.
Huh.
Those people down there are on it. They're on subsistence, and we're paying for it, which is that's another story about her, saying they're all doctors and lawyers and stuff. But it's our tax money.
Well,
so they keep finding ways to generate revenue off of our backs. That's what they do, because they don't know how to stop the spending. They don't know how to cut the size of their government. These taxes, this death tax, we touched on that before. That's a horrible thing. There's only 5 states, I think, that have it. It's bad. It's bad for the people. It's driving people out. I think that's their goal, is to drive everybody out of this state. The population's declining here.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how much, but
84,000 a year.
Okay,
that's what we lose.
I had somebody. I heard somebody break it down per day.
Yeah,
and it amazed me. Can't be. And they said, and
it would be more than that if the census didn't put in the illegals that are here. So that was from 24 and 25. So I don't have 26 yet. It would be way more.
And yet, industry will not come here because
taxes,
and the regulations,
corporate tax rates, regulations. You got high fuel costs. You got you name it down the line. Everything is like the Crown Act they just passed.
What a waste of time.
That's the wokest bill, and it was obviously predominantly Democrat introduced, and my opponent voted for it. Obviously, she votes for almost all the Democrat stuff, and it's a bad bill. It's gonna drive up the cost of doing this because you're gonna start seeing a lot of frivolous lawsuits coming out. Hey, John, you can't have your hair that short, or hey, your hair's too long, or hey, those dreadlocks are gonna get stuck in that lathe. You can't do that. You know what I mean? So if we pull you from that lathe and we try to put you somewhere, you're gonna say, okay, you're discriminating against me. But there's a clause in there that says for safety reasons, you're still going to end up in court. And what's going to happen? You're going to end up settling. So these people don't understand how this stuff works. Bad deal.
Okay, so we get taxed. We get taxed from almost the moment.
You're taxed before you come out of the womb.
Yeah, I mean from birth.
I know.
And guess what? They can't figure out how to tax us. They can't figure out how to tax us before we're born.
No.
So now they're taxing us after we die.
That's right.
Which I tell you what, we're in a community down the whole, and I can include Fayette County and Somerset and Bedford and all these communities in this southwest corner, Washington County that you're representing, in Butler, right?
Beaver.
And Beaver. I mean, this is farming communities. I mean, these are
Yes.
this is rural communities. I mean, yeah, we have some big towns, but not.
No.
I mean, Greensburg's probably the biggest town, and that's not even in yours. But I mean,
Right.
in our area, you have Uniontown, and you have I'm trying to think what would be Washington, and the city of Washington would be a
Yeah,
big town.
population wise, your Canonsburg, Peters, those are your big areas. Trinity and Washington, the city would be kind of like fourth.
So I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at your running, and what I see, same thing, and it's reflecting different parts of the state, especially in the rural areas. It's the very elitist.
Yeah.
And I don't want to even calling them elitist is wrong. They think they're elitist,
Right.
but they're in such disarray because they are scared they're going to lose whatever little bit of power they have with the Republican Party.
Yep.
And it looks like I see these patriot groups all over, and it's just
They're growing.
They're growing.
They're growing.
And it wouldn't. And
I was at a town hall the other day, and the talk at that town hall was starting a fourth party. Actually, they said third party. I said, wait, there's already three. You start a fourth. There was a lot of talk about that. And then the weirdest thing, the very next day, I was at another event. They were talking about it there too.
Yeah.
You know why? The Republican Party
has left everybody.
Well, it's political cannibalism.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is right now. And, you know, when you have the Republican Party giving her $750,000 of our money, Senator Rothman, using it against me, another Republican who's way more qualified for that job than she would ever be. I don't care if she spends the next 2 terms in there. She still wouldn't get it. It's not about her. It's about you, kids, the elderly, the constituents of the 46th district.
We the people.
We the people.
And
For sure.
And that's what it's all about. And I've
It
said that now for years. And actually, it's the grassroots, and I want to say really the grassroots, we the people
Yeah.
they're going to have to step up and take over. And you're right, we need a fourth party.
They got to get pissed off. They got to get out and vote.
Yeah,
They have to.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to get motivated. If you really want to make a change, get out and vote.
I can see a split. I can see there's the Liberty Caucus part of the Republican Party is they're doing what they need to do, and they're growing.
Yeah.
They're growing, and they're good people. I really believe that that's what we have to keep moving forward.
We do. We have to push forward. You know, we're constitutionalists. I mean, we are conservatives. When you start going down this path, this dark road, you know, with all this dark money and all this stuff, that's not. You're trying to buy an election. That's what my opponent's trying to do.
And you're pretty sure that she's going to spend over $2 million
easily. We're looking at about $250,000 a week in TV ads. They've been running for 2 weeks. You're looking at I think we're about $400,000 just in flyers. So you're already at $1 million, not counting the other stuff that she's doing. So it's easy to track. I can't wait to see her financials. When we have to May 8th, we have to have everything in, and then 24 hours before May 19th.
Well, it'll be a real
all the lying. She's saying that I'm lying and I'm being, bought by all these, casinos and this and that. It's the Bill DeWeese criminal playbook. That's exactly what it is. It's the Democrat playbook. Look over here, but I'm going to be doing what I'm telling you and I'm accusing you of.
Yeah.
It's what they do. What they do every time. So, but we're in a great spot. We just got to keep pushing forward, getting our message out. I like, and this is going to sound weird, but the more she attacks me, the better my numbers are.
Well, and
it's strange.
I've been privy to your numbers, and I see them, and I tell you what, and
right,
you're far beyond the plus minus range.
Right.
I mean, you're far beyond that. So, and
that's a good thing.
And if they're spending, oh yeah, and if they're spending $250,000 a week to run for a state Senate seat,
over
$250,000 a week to run for a state Senate seat,
yep.
That supposedly, let's get this right. I hope I got it right. Pays
$113,000.
Okay.
But they pad their pockets more because they say, put me on this committee, put me on this committee. It's an extra $6,000. Her salary, and let me just tell you this. She said, I will never vote for a pay raise. Well, no, you didn't have to because they're automatic. She gets them automatic. She got 9 pay raises since she's been in office. She makes $129,000 change.
How long has she been in office?
This will be her 12th year. 12th year. So, and then they get the per diem, which could be a $50,000 tax-free. Tax-free. So in all, if you add everything in with all their benefits and everything, well over $200,000.
Plus,
way over.
Plus, the state's paying for a couple offices.
Well, we are, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, we
taxpayers
are. Yeah.
Paying for a couple.
Yeah.
Couple offices at probably $50,000 or $60,000 a year.
Easily.
And then how many employees on top of that?
Lots.
I mean
their staff, they could have 20.
They could have up to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think that her office in Washington cost us about $150,000 a year. That office.
That's just the office. That ain't all the employees.
No, just that office.
How many employees?
That's the rent. That's all the, everything.
So your goal is you're going to dwindle them.
I'm going to really push to consolidate this stuff where we can redistrict and try to get it down to where we don't need as many legislators on both sides, House and Senate. Cut down this staff, cut down the buildings that we have. I mean, we really need to do that. We need to start thinking about being fiscally sound. It's killing everybody.
Yeah.
You can't afford to live here anymore.
At one time we had the biggest legislator in Harrisburg.
Well, ours are all full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Well, there's only 11 states that have full-time legislators.
I'm pretty sure even Texas doesn't have full-time.
No, 11 states. And why is that?
I bet they're all blue.
They are.
I bet they're all blue.
Yeah, I think there's one red one, but it was like a swing. It was
like in North Carolina.
Or Nevada or something like that. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's doable when you have, 3/4 or 7/8 of the whole country that is just temporary.
Well, I know one thing, and this is positively true.
Yeah.
One thing I do know, that we need railroads, we need steel mills, we need coal mines, and we need natural gas. And we
do.
And we have all that right here in this southwest corner of the
richest
state.
Counties.
I mean, there's
the richest and the
we
poorest.
shouldn't even be paying taxes right now.
No.
We shouldn't be paying
No.
taxes. But
No.
but Greene County and Fayette County, I think we're Greene County might be number 2 and Fayette County might be number 3 to the poorest counties in the state.
We are 8th poorest. Greene County is the richest. We are the 8th poorest. Washington County is the 22nd poorest. And they're the 2nd or 3rd richest. This whole corridor, you're right. I mean, We're the Saudi Arabia
We
of the freaking state.
we are. Not only that, we are the Saudi. We could be raising more corn, more soybeans
Yeah.
than anybody in the state
Anybody.
right now. And you see farmland going to waste.
Yeah.
But you see farmland just laying idle.
And you have all these people that, wondering why we're not drilling. That there's a few things.
Well,
We need transmission lines, and the people, are fighting that. You're disturbing the bats and this and that. You know what? Listen, you're going to be a third world country if you don't progress. We need progression.
well, here's my theory. Let's mine it here. Let's take the natural gas out. Let's send it,
Sell it.
to wherever it needs to
Yep.
go. Let them build a power plant and let them build the power,
Sure.
make the power there.
I'm with you.
That's
I'm with you.
that's
100%.
that's my thing. That's how I look at it.
My thing too. Just
There's a
real quick.
drilling rig that I don't know if you know this or not. Did you hear this? There's a
No.
drilling rig that left Texas on April the 2nd or 3rd.
Okay.
Okay. It got to the Pennsylvania line just because of permits and things.
Right.
And people say, how come it took so long? But you had to have it. This is a huge drilling rig. It got to the Pennsylvania line on April the 13th. Until yesterday, now I hope I got this right, but somebody can correct me. Up until yesterday, it was sitting at a rest area. It was sitting in a parking lot,
Wow.
rest area,
14 days.
because of the permit process in Pennsylvania to move it across where it needed to go.
I just was on the phone with a guy that does trailer installations, and he was having the same thing with PADOT, trying to get oversized permits, and it was a nightmare. We get them too to haul some of my dozers.
Yeah.
They're a nightmare, and they rob you on that too.
Well, I mean, we've all done it.
Tax.
Yep. That's another tax. They don't call it tax, but it's another tax.
No.
But I mean, everybody that been in business, and I've helped load
Yep.
dozers, and we moved them on Sunday morning at 6 a.m.
Yep.
because they were only going 15 miles, right? But I mean,
I'm with you.
I mean, we did it. We had to.
You
I
had
mean,
to.
I mean, same way with moved a big excavator one time that way too, because you had to take the boom off of it and move it. And
I'm with you.
but you have to do this.
This state, it's just so bad. It's so not business friendly, and that's the reason we don't have
Well, I
the
blame
booming economy that we should be having.
I blame a lot of it. I mean, a lot of it has to do with our state legislator.
Oh yeah.
There's no doubt about it. But our county commissioners need to step up and be a voice instead of sitting back and waiting
They
for
won't.
some. But they won't, because they're
They
wanting to
won't.
get
They're
reelected,
yes.
and it's all about
Gets
votes.
people.
It's all about votes. Let's do the nice things. Let's build public projects where in recreation areas
nobody uses.
that very few people use
Yeah.
that don't generate any money.
No.
I mean, it costs.
No. Those types of projects, the public works projects, are great once you're established where you have a dominance of industry and business. Then you get your infrastructure. That would be your second phase of your infrastructure, because your population is going to start going. You want people to come in because it's an amenity then. So you have some amenities to get some people in, not only through business, but you have that. You have to have the business first, and getting a Taco Bell and this and that, and giving $500,000 in grant money to facilitate these people to buy a piece of property. You're never getting it back. You're never getting it back because they're going to get an abatement. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, I don't know if we might get you on one more time before the election.
Yeah, I'd
I hope
appreciate
so.
it.
And the taxes is a big thing. And
I just wanted to just last thing. We filed a suit against the casinos, so we're going to people are going to see who's funding who.
well, let's just talk about it for a couple of minutes.
Sure.
You've been in court how many times just to keep yourself on?
I've
the ballot?
been in court 3 times to be on a ballot, and now I have a lawsuit against the PAGOP and one against the casinos that are funding my opponent, that are saying that I raised taxes, which I never did. Everybody knows that, but they're putting out defamatory statements and stuff like that. So we won in Superior Court. They appealed. We won at the Supreme Court. Then the county of Washington tried to illegally, Nick Sherman and Elector Janis and those They tried to illegally hold a hearing to throw me off of the ballot down there for state committee. So we called the Secretary of State, and he's like, no, they can't do that. They don't even know what they're doing. They're trying everything they can to get me off the ballot. Well, now they know they're not getting me off the ballot. So what's the next thing? Let's create all these lies, fabricate all these stories.
Well, I'll tell you what the next thing. After the election and you win, then they're gonna go to court and say that you won illegally. They're gonna say that you wasn't supposed to be on the ballot. That's gonna be. Well, I forget the name of the word, but it's afterwards.
It's okay.
That's what they're gonna try to do,
and they can do whatever they want. I just
and
want
they'll spend 3 or 4.
Well, they're spending our money.
Yeah,
they're spending our tax money fighting.
Whether people realize it or not, they're spending, and that's what they do. They spend tax money to fight you instead of just doing the right thing.
So, I mean, the only way you could win is obviously win the election, but you hit them in the wallet. I'm going after everybody. They think that they mess with Trump the same way they're messing with me. I mean, I won't stop. That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
So they got their hands full. Let's just say that.
I really appreciate you. You don't know how much, and I thank you for stepping up.
I'm here for the people,
and that's the main thing. And I know you're listening to everybody.
Yep.
And it's hard. It's tough because the phone starts ringing at 6:30 in the morning or 7 o'clock.
5.
Yeah. Well, I just don't answer until 6:30 or 7 o'clock. And if my wife gets a hold of it before me, she'll hide it. So, but she gets up during the night, she'll hide my phone. But you think about it, and it's just everything. I mean, the mess that's going on. I mean, the funniest thing, you're going to laugh about this. The first time I got elected to the Recorder of Deeds office, the first phone call I got was from a little elderly lady, we'll say, and she was actually from Dawson. She said to me, she says, "Jon, are you going to be able to fix the price of gas for us?" And I said, "Well, I got elected to Recorder of Deeds, but I said, I will definitely make sure everybody knows that the tax in Pennsylvania is wrong." And she said, "That's the best I can do for you." Then I got stopped today. I told you when I was coming in. I got stopped today. Girl come up to me right on the sidewalk in Uniontown, and she said, "I want to hug you." And I said, well, we can shake hands. How's that? And she shook my hand, and she said, "You just keep doing it. Nobody would know this stuff's going on. And people don't know."
We're trying to educate people.
Yeah.
We're trying to get people pissed off, educate them, get them out the vote.
And it's not about how smart we are. No. It's about how smart they are. Yeah. We have to help them understand that.
They need to look through the voting records of whoever they're supporting. They need to look through what they're all about, what they stand for, conservative, liberal. They really need to see where they stand on things. I really wish that people would really do in-depth research on a candidate. I've helped people all my life.
Well, this isn't about the money for you, I know, but anyways, but the thing of it is about the money for her. There's 100%. No doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
Without a doubt. You're going to spend $3 million for a $120,000 job.
Yeah. This is about the money.
Strange, right?
Yeah. And I always get a kick out of it when President Trump says, follow the money. And when you start following the money, you find out they have offshore accounts. Yep. They're putting money outside of the United States. Yep. They're investing. That ought to be,
it should be legal.
Yeah, but I get it. Yeah.
There's insider trading going on. There's a lot of things that
even
go on
at the state Senate.
And these people are tempted because, obviously, like my opponent, she was just about bankrupt when she ran the first time. And now look.
Well, anyways, I want to thank you again.
I appreciate you.
And we'll get you back on one more time, maybe a couple more times before the election. But
yeah,
I really appreciate you, and we need to get this message out there. And we're gonna do everything we can to help you out. I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to thank all the people that are tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am Jon Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly. On this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad, smile with the sad, love what you got, and remember what you had. Always forgive, but never forget. People change. Things go wrong. But just remember, the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am Jon Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.